Happiness is freedom. Freedom is having the choice to spend your time doing things that inspire you. Most people want freedom, but many people don't have a clear objective, a roadmap, or a strategy to achieve it. Everyone deserves to live an inspired and free life. I believe that when we're free and able to focus on our most meaningful work, we simply become better human beings. We can give more, care more, support more, and love more. I'm an investor, a trader, and an entrepreneur, and I get to spend every day doing what I love. At the age of 29 years old, I became financially free, and since then my mission has been to help and inspire other people to achieve the same so that they can be more of who they really want to be. Always Free is about having a free mind, being free to question the status quo, free to take risks, free to say no, free to say yes, free from social idealisms, opinions and beliefs, free to disobey, and free to wake up every day and spend your time to make a difference that inspires you. You can have it all. Living a life designed by you isn't a stroke of luck or a result of circumstance. It's a choice. So if you want to learn how to become free and live an inspired life, join me for the #1 show for financial empowerment and wealth creation as I share my insights, tips, strategies and advice on what allowed me to be always free. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Jason Graystone. Well. Welcome back to the show. Hope you've had a nice week so far. And let me know who's here. Let's see who we got on. While you're all tuning in, I will mention the podcast today because I had Siri on, a good friend of mine. Let's see who's here. Wow, everyone's here already. Evening, Neil. All the usual suspects. Good evening. Hello. If you're here and you're watching and you're an avid watcher of the show, definitely make sure that you let us know. Let us know if you're here every week. Let us know what value you're getting from the show, if you're enjoying it, because that's important. I don't do things like this for my health. I want to make sure that we're providing value to you guys and you are getting something from it, because otherwise it's a bit pointless. But we've had a lot of great feedback about the show, and I'm honoured to be able to come on here every week and share these little half-hour sessions with you as well. But the podcast today was a real good one. If you haven't listened to that already, go and check it out. Siri talking about really what we were talking about last week, and his take on that, because he actually specializes in helping people break out of large corporations, out of public sector, and starting to design a life and build a side hustle business or a business for them. So definitely go and check that out. Sounds like you guys are getting lots of value anyway, so that's good. So what I want to do this week is a little bit more, it's kind of a rounding off of what we've been speaking about over the last couple of weeks. And I want to talk about specifically how you go about doing it, right? And even more specifically, how you plan doing it. So is there anyone here who struggles with the kind of implementation or the actual planning of doing something, or whether it's any goal that you've got, or maybe it's something that you've been putting off for a while, or maybe it's just something that, something that you've been thinking about doing, but you just don't know how to start. Let me know. And what I want to talk about specifically here is, first of all, I want to talk about the kind of mindset shift here, because we're talking about people who are in a job, okay? And I think it's fair to say that many of the people who have jobs, sometimes if they wake up late, they will spend their time racing in the car, breaking the speed limit, breaking the law, because they're 5 minutes late to get to work on time, okay? And then they're dictated to by a boss or a manager, and you have to get there on time. You get disciplined if you're late. And when you get there, they don't want you to be distracted. They want you to turn your phone off, not look at your phone, not look on social media. They want you to just focus on the job at hand. And you do that. You rush around for them. You don't want to be late. You get there on time. You don't distract yourself. You get on with your job and you do whatever they say. And then at the end of the day, when you go home, what a lot of people don't do is apply that same approach to their dream life. They're applying it to someone else and someone else's agenda and someone else's dream life, but they're not applying it to their own life. And it's really interesting because that's what you need to do. When I was talking last week about you don't want to work overtime, you want to free up your time and work on you, you have to apply that same approach that you would to your job, but to you and to your dream life. Because if you don't, you're not going to do it. It's no good going home and then going, oh yeah, well, I might start that in a minute, but I've got to watch a bit of TV, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, and you're just putting it off. And then what people do is they sit on their phone and go on TikTok and they're scrolling, but you wouldn't do that at work. Like you wouldn't do that at work. So what I want to talk about is how you can utilize that time and how you can maximize that time to really make leaps and bounds, really make progress. And I just want to talk about a macro approach to goal planning and how I plan my goals. Some of you have heard this before. I've developed a whole program on this and a tool on this, but I want to run you through the principles so that your brain cogs can start turning and you start getting inspired about how easy it is, because a lot of people get overwhelmed and that causes procrastination. And the reason you get procrastination is much to do with overwhelm. And the reason you've got overwhelm is because you haven't chunked the goals down enough and identified those little ones that are subconsciously causing you problems. Okay. So who we got here? Neil says the lack of knowledge of steps to get it off the ground properly and correctly. Your 100th podcast episode was inspired. So many ideas, and I played it to my kids. Wow. That's awesome, Liam. That's really good to hear. I was very inspired to create that 100th episode. I was very, very inspired myself to create that content as well. So hopefully that came across. Amazing. Procrastination. Right. So what I want to run through with you tonight is really some kind of principles around planning goals. And before I get stuck into that and start showing you some kind of diagrams and some technicals, I want to reinforce the point that whatever we plan happens. Whatever we plan, we get. Now, when it comes to goal setting, a lot of people set goals, but they don't plan goals. And whatever you've planned in your life, you've got a very, very high success rate. If you plan to go on holiday, you've gone on holiday. If you've planned a barbecue, you've got the barbecue. If you've planned to have a party of some sort, you have the party. If you plan to buy a new car, you usually buy the new car. If you plan a trip away, you go away. You plan camping, you go camping. And because you're planning it. And the analogy or the kind of example that I use is, let's take a holiday, a 7-day holiday, right? So a 7-day holiday, I think it's fair to say that you probably spend about 2 hours total planning that 7-day holiday, right? So you'd be planning the parking, the flights, the accommodation, excursions when you're there. You'll be sorting out some insurance. You'll be checking flights and getting cheaper deals. You'll be doing the insurance. You'll be maybe the parking at the airport or the lounge, what you book in, and the atoll stuff and all that kind of stuff. The dog kennel, whatever you've got, right? I think it's fair to say it's 2 hours. If you take that 2 hours over that total, 7 days, it works out to about 1.8% of the holiday, right? 1.8% of the holiday. And when you do that, I think it's fair to say that the holiday goes well. Nothing goes untoward unless BA lose your luggage or something like that. It goes as you think, right? Because you've planned it. What people don't do is apply that same principle to their year, to their yearly goals. Now, if you if you took that 1.8% and spread it across a year, it would equate to about 7 to 10 days. Now, not many people spend 7 to 10 days planning goals, and they wonder why they don't hit their goals. Goals aren't just about setting something, it's about planning. Planning every single step so that the goal is just this thing that you wrote down that's inevitable and it's going to happen, but you have to work through the little to-dos. And I want to just break that down for you on how to do that. Because some of you have been really inspired to go and start a side hustle, side business, and come out, spend time progressing that, whether that's at ideas stage, whether it's at building stage, whether it's building some technical stage, or building a sales presentation, or doing some marketing or some market research. All of that stuff is a category. All of that needs doing, but because you haven't broken it down and chunked it down, it's very, very difficult and you don't know where to start. So here's what I do. First of all, you want to think of one big goal, okay? So think about one thing that you want to achieve over the next quarter, by the end of this year. Let's just say by the end of this year, okay? Has anyone got anything that they want to get done? Please feel free to share with the team here. If anyone's got anything that they want to share, great accountability, right? Throw it out there. If you're thinking about getting something done by the end of the year, or something that you've really been putting off for a while and you want to get done, let us know what it is. Let us know what it is. So think about one thing, and what I want you to think about of the year is it's in quarters, right? So we've got a quarter left at the end of this year, which is essentially 90 days, right? Now what we want to do, so it looks like this. This is the year, okay? Now what we want to do is we want to spread our goal over one of these quarters. So in this case, we're going to be looking at the final quarter of the year. So in 3 months' time, it's going to be the 2nd of December, which pretty much is Christmas, winding down, all that kind of stuff. And you're not going to, that's where people start winding down and getting ready for the next year. So 3 months, we've basically got 3 months, which is a quarter, which is 90 days. So that big goal, what you want to do now is chunk that down into 7 major action steps, okay? So let me give you an example. In 2019, I decided that in Q1, I was going to launch a podcast. I had no idea how to launch a podcast, let alone, I had no idea it was going to go to #1 in 3 categories and all the rest of it. I didn't even know what was involved in launching a podcast, but I just knew that was the goal. That was the big goal. It was a bit overwhelming. I didn't know what to do. So I broke it into 7 major action steps, right? So let's just say it was the design, writing the episodes, editing the episodes, recording the episodes, coming up with a theme tune, the music for it, and publishing, right? And promoting. So that's 7 major steps that cover pretty much everything you've got to do in a podcast. Now, if you're planning to build a business, maybe the first, you want to break it down over that quarter into 7 action steps, and that could just be the first 7. So it could be market research, it could be ideas, right? Brainstorming, market research. It could be building a website. It could be building a landing page. It could be recording the product or the course or the program. It could be writing some copy and maybe some emails and things like that. So there's 7 major action steps to pretty much everything. And I like using 7s because it just works really well. If you are planning a wedding, if you're planning a party, there's 7 action steps that really cover umbrella all of the little to-dos, right? That's fair to say. So then what you want to do is you want to spread those action steps over the quarter, and you want to go one step further because you've got 90 days, right? What you want to do next is then break those action steps into 7 to 10 to-dos, right? So let me just give you an example here on my podcast example. Sorry if I'm talking funny. In my podcast example, we've got recording episodes. Okay, so recording is one action step. Record episode 1, record episode 2, record episode 3, record episode 4, record episode 5, right? Get 10 done. By the way, if one of your goals is a podcast, 93% of people don't make it past episode 7. So if you get to 10, you're in the top 3% or 5% or something of podcasts, of podcast creators. So do that for your 7 steps. So if one of them is designing or branding, how can you break that down into tiny little to-dos, 7 to 10 to-dos? Right? Training. What do you need to learn? So Mahesh has just said training. What training? So training would be one of the action steps. What do you need to learn? And tick them all off. Get them all written down so that you've got 7 to 10 tasks underneath that. Right? Then, what you're looking at here now is a 90-day period. So you're looking at something that looks like, where are we? I don't know. That's the quarters. You're looking at something that looks like that. Right? So you've got time, which is the quarter. You've got the progress, which is ticking off each of these tiny little to-dos. And all you've got to do is make sure that the progress beats the time. That's all you've got to do. You've got to make sure that progress beats the time. Now, before you get to that point, you want to set, this is going back to what I said at the beginning of this show, when you apply the same principles as you do to your work ethic at your job to your own dream life. And that means you block in your calendar. You go into your calendar and you create a calendar, brand new calendar. You know, with these calendars, you can create new calendars and you can name the calendar and you can color code the calendar and you call it Get Shit Done or Dream Life. And what you want to do is then set your sessions. So your sessions, you might say on a Monday morning between 6 and 7, I'm going to dedicate that hour to just doing this. And I'm going to work on ticking off these things. So you block in your calendar the times when you get home from work, you know, get rid of the distractions, get rid of the phone, get rid of the TikTok, get rid of, you know, put everything off, rush home, rush to get it done, rush to get to your dream life, like you would rush to work if you was late. Apply the same thing, block it in your calendar like it's a doctor's appointment or a tax appointment. It's non-negotiable. You set it in your calendar and it's done. You block those times in and then you dedicate each and every single one of those times to ticking off these. And guess what? All you need to do is you just tick these things off. You just go ahead and tick each one of these off, and as long as the progress starts to beat the time, you're inevitably going to hit the goal. And guess what? Even if you don't hit the goal, you're going to be much further along than you would be if you didn't. You'll be much, much further along if you didn't do that. So the message really is you need to start applying the same work ethic and the same drive to your dream life as you do to working for someone else. And you need to remove the distractions just like you would with someone else. And then you need to block in time that's dedicated to your dream life into your calendar and block out as many as you can. And what you'll see is if you do all the tasks and you give the tasks conservative times, like let's just say I need to think of a title for my podcast, right? Give yourself an hour. That's a lot of time to think of a title. I need to record episode 1, give yourself an hour. I need to record episode 2, give yourself an hour. Put time allocations, and then you'll have some idea of how long it's going to take you. But guess what? Some of these tasks are going to take 5 minutes, some will take 10 minutes, some will take an hour, some will take 2 hours. But because you're blocking out those times in your calendar, and your calendar looks like this, right? And you've got that calendar blocked in now, and you know that on a Monday morning between 6 and 7, and in the evenings 7 and 8, and you're going to work on your dream life, all you're doing during that time is just ticking through each of those tiny little to-dos, and you tick them off, tick them off, tick them off. And you'll inevitably get there. You inevitably get there, and most important of all, you remove overwhelm. You remove overwhelm, which causes procrastination. And the reason you remove overwhelm is because it's all easy little things to do, and you identify anything that you was subconsciously avoiding. And when you pinpoint that tiny little to-do that you were subconsciously avoiding, you delegate it and get rid of it. You get someone else to do it, or do it last, right? Because by the time you've put it on the list last, you've built so much momentum and you've got so much enthusiasm, and you're so ambitious and you're so driven because you've got that momentum and you've got so much progress, you're going to just knock it off. You'll just do it. So let's read some of these comments. Get some training done. That will hopefully lead online business. I want to start TOF and have my purpose aligned, ready for the new year. Amazing. The TOF purpose process is absolutely outstanding. It's absolutely amazing. And also, you guys are interested in the life planning. I built a whole program and a tool to help you plan your entire life and smash through your goals and build habits and see as far into your future as possible, so nothing comes as an unexpected surprise. You know, lots of people have this idea that they're going to be here when they're 30 or here when they're 40, and they're going to have this sort of life here and there. If you're looking holistically at all areas of your life and you can plan as far into the future, you're realistic and things align. You can see, well, that doesn't quite tally up because I've said that I'm going traveling here. Well, I can't have kids there if I'm going to be traveling. Well, you can, but it's going to be very difficult. Do you know what I mean? So by having a holistic view and a well thought out plan of your life for those goals, when you get closer to them, you put them into the quarterly process, which I've just shown you, and you just smash them. Absolutely smash them. 4:30 a.m. start, impressive. Don't you feel the burnout towards the end of the day? No, because I go to bed at 9, half 9. So, look, that's really the main point I wanted to get across today. I wanted to just give you an overview. Obviously, this is very detailed stuff. I built a whole program on it, but I wanted to give you an overview so you could start thinking about in terms of progress and time, breaking the progress down into tiny little bite-sized chunks, ticking through them, and just beating the time that way. It's a much more approachable way to tackling a big goal like that, and it's a much more it's much less overwhelming because you make progress. So if you are thinking about building a side hustle or building a side business, this is what you want to start thinking about. You want to start blocking out your calendar when you get home, getting away from work as quickly as possible and doing the absolute minimum. And then when you get home, you start working on you and you get rid of the distractions and you get it done. So hopefully that was of value. This show is all about ensuring that you become more of who you really want to be, not living outside of your values to please someone else or do something for someone else, because although you might get value from this, the purpose of this isn't to change who you are as a person. It's just to get you back to being who you already are, more of who you already are. People who know me and have known me for years know that I'm expressing even more of what I've always been about now. And that's really my message. And I want everyone to be in that state because that is just love. So that's it. If you are interested in the life planning module and the other stuff that we're doing in TOF, we have an intake on the 10th of September, which is next Thursday. And all you need to do is get on a call with Elena. You can go to bit.ly/TOFBuddy, bit.ly/TOFBuddy, book in a call. She'll get you on a call. She'll guide you into the group, get you on a strategy session, and we'll be doing the intake on Thursday next week, where you'll get access to all of this. And lastly, we're doing a boot camp this weekend on exactly what we've been talking about over the last 3 weeks. So how to build an income stream. It's going to be amazing. It's called the Quantum Leverage Income Growth Bootcamp, and it is, you can go and grab a ticket for that right here. This is the last chance to get tickets for this because the spaces will be gone and we're closing off the sale tomorrow. So that is it. We're going to teach you how to build a product, how to get the ideas out of you, set projections and numbers for your ideal income, and then we're going to reverse engineer the whole thing. I'm going to teach you how to build it, how to sell it, how to automate it across the 3 days. So amazing boot camp coming up, guys. I'm really excited about it. Got some great mentors there as well. Richard Woods, who was the finalist on The Apprentice with Alan Sugar. He's going to be teaching you about Facebook ads. It's going to be phenomenal. So go and grab that. And that just leaves competition time. And we've also got news on competition time. This is the last week that we're giving away a hoodie. Sought after, always free hoodies. They've been very, very popular, very soft. Who's got one here? Who's got an always free hoodie? Let us know in the comments if you've got an always free hoodie and you're enjoying that. Neil says, great to see you this weekend for the Q-Lig, Quantum Leverage Income Growth. I want to win a hoodie, says Michael B. This is the last week we're giving away hoodies. We've had a massive batch come in, so we're going to be selling them. You'll be able to purchase them, but we won't be giving them away here. We'll be giving away prizes, but not the hoodies. So, loving the hoodies, says Neil's store. Amazing. So the final winner of a hoodie for this show is... who do you reckon? All right, the winner is Pig's Pajamas, which I think is Lisa. Pig's Pajamas, well done. Reach out to admin@graystone.education and let us know your size and your color. And it will be on its way to you. And you'll be enjoying that lovely, snuggly, always free hoodie. So that's it for another week, guys. I hope have a think about that. Let me know what goals you're planning, and if you got value from this, let me know. Take a picture of you watching the show, tag me on social so I can see it. Well done to Lisa, and until next week, have a great rest of your day and weekend, and I'll see you then.